Welcome back to all our friends, family, and yes, even our foes. To the Foxx Den Sports Podcast, where Todd and his sports-passionate kids are ready to bring you the latest updates and insights on all things sports. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast, along with Kellen the dog, my oldest son, and my brother-in-law, Clay Bench McDonald, the Dens Enforcer. I'm the podfather, here to talk about some more good Oklahoma City Thunder happenings from this past few days. I know we had, obviously, the playoffs just started up. Thunder winning the very first game against Phoenix, 119-84. Kellen, I know you were there, pretty fired up about that. What were your impressions from basically sitting in the stands with the crowd going nuts? How loud was it? All that kind of stuff. What were your first impressions?
I mean, it was insanely loud. I'd never been to a playoff game before, so in my mind, the Spurs game that I went to earlier this year, the one that we beat them, in my mind, I was like, that has to be kind of a playoff vibe, but it was even louder to start off. Like, they gave these little clapper things, and everybody's just going crazy. So it was even louder than what I could have imagined. But once, by the middle of the second, going into the second half for sure, it kind of died down. Once it was pretty set, it looked like we were going to be blowing them out. So it was very cool, though. Something that I've never got to experience before, and it was insane.
Well, Shai scored 25 points in game one, but went 5 of 18 from the floor, and he took 17 free throws. And I read a little bit on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call some folks, and I saw one person said that he's actually unwatchable when his shots aren't falling. How do you feel about that?
If you actually watch the game and not watch Twitter, and I'm not talking about you, but the people that are all tweeting. Yeah. If you actually watch the game and you would see we'd get into bonus pretty early on, and they would just foul him without him taking shots. It almost felt like they were trying to almost have like an excuse ready by the end of the game. Like it made no sense, some of the foul, and they were fouling him. He wasn't baiting anything. He was dribbling, and they'd reach and foul him. And if we were in the bonus, he'd go shoot a couple free throws. So it wasn't his fault. He didn't shoot great, but the rest of the team did, so it was fine. I mean, yeah, he didn't shoot great. I'll give that, but the free throws were their fault. It made no sense what they were doing.
Clay, what were your thoughts on game one?
Man, I think the biggest thing I was looking for was because sometimes you go, man, it's nice to sweep a team or win 5 games, and the other team has to go that you're going to play in the next round has got to go 7 games because they're going to be worn out, and it doesn't usually work out like that. Usually a team that's on a roll, even though they may be a little more tired or whatever. So that was probably my biggest thing, is our starters. I mean, I didn't count the days, but what is it, 10, 11 days since they've played? And so I was like, what's it going to be like this first quarter? Are they going to get into the flow and all this kind of stuff? And first thing, we're down 5-0, which not that huge a deal, but still you're just like, okay, starting out a little slow. And then it was just what I think we went on like a 17-2 after that. Bottom line is we're just a lot better than the Suns, and which is not unexpected. That's nothing a bold statement, but just come in, take care of business, and go on. So that's impressive. And because you saw what happened when you don't take care of business with the other number 1 seed going down.
Yeah, that was crazy. But I know I watched a little bit at Shai at the end answering some questions, and they asked him something to the fact that a few years ago, I think we won by 50-plus points in the first game one last year, 30-plus points. And again, this game as well, 30-plus points. But they asked him something to the effect like, is this team just rolling? And he said, well, here's the thing. Remember, they just came off some playing game, and they're a little bit tired. We'll expect a better game from them in game 2. And the fact that, Thunder had a little bit of rust with some of the guys that hadn't been playing early on. But regardless, I like the fact that he's not given any bulletin board material, you know, and I mean, not that honestly truly maybe matters in anything. I do like the fact that he did not give any bulletin board material for anybody to shoot at him or think, hey, we're gonna bust your chops next time we see you. What are your thoughts on anything like that?
Well, yeah, the Suns had less than 48 hours of rest going into that game. They're going to have more than 72 hours for the next game, which is a little ridiculous in my opinion. I know that's part of the downside of being in the play-in tournament, but
Sure.
having less than 48 hours is a little crazy to me. But I mean, I didn't think Shai was the only one rusty. Chet played a great game. Dub played a great game. Dort did what he does. He didn't take many shots, but he hit, and Hartenstein did good other than getting into foul trouble. So I thought Shai was the only one. So the fact that you win by that much and he had his worst shooting game of the season has me pretty confident for the rest of the playoffs that if everybody else keeps doing what they're doing, you know Shai is going to be fine. Yeah. Whether it's next game or the game after, you know he'll be back. So the fact that we won that big with Shai shooting poorly just goes to show just how good and how experienced we are at this point.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I mean, I think, you know, I think the playoffs usually is about an every other day thing instead of 3 days waiting. I mean, Shai never gives bulletin board material. He's incredible behind the microphone. And so that's one thing I love about him. But he also sounded different than he did last year about how experienced now these guys are about what the playoffs are really about. And that's what he sounded like to me, was like, yeah, well, this is, because I heard him even say, they're going to come out with a different game plan. And that's what's so different about the playoffs is, you know, you play the Suns now and you beat them by 30 plus points. Well, you don't play them again for 3 months. Well, they're on to whoever they're playing next, and so are we. And so now you're like, okay, well, everything we tried game one, well, we slowed down Shai, okay, but we still got beat. So what are we going to do next? And so if they can do anything next, I don't know. But, you know, they had a couple players out that might be playing this next game, so that might help them a little bit. But they're not not their good players. But, you know, everything Kellen said about Shai will never, that'll probably be his worst shooting game of this entire playoff series, or the whole playoffs through June, hopefully. So I don't, and to win by that much is just, and I mean, did he, I know I watched the whole game, but did he play much in the fourth quarter at all?
None at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's still, what do you have, 26, 28? I mean, just like,
It's like 25, but
okay,
yeah, like
right?
not playing in the fourth quarter is a fantastic way to start the playoffs.
And I mean, maybe half of the second, I'm sorry, that he played. I think he got in with like 6 minutes left in the second quarter. So, we'll be fine.
Well, I know JDub he had 22 points, 6 assists. He was plus 22 in the game. Chet had 16 points, 2 blocks. He often was out on the perimeter. Is JDub actually the alpha of the supporting cast? And does that make Chet if so, does that make Chet a glorified 3-and-D center?
I just think when it comes to the number 2 role, JDub is number 2 on offense, but like Chet's number 1 on defense. But if you want to go Shai still being the leader, Chet's the number 2 on the defensive side because that's where his bread and butter. He got off hot on offense. He got us rolling, especially. He just didn't need to do much after that. Like he kept us afloat and everybody else caught up. But I don't know. I think our team is just very interesting. Like it's not like a 1, 2, 3. It's just whoever needs to be 1, 2, and 3 that night, and that's it because they don't seem to have egos. They just go out there. They all have the common goal of winning the basketball game, no matter who has to take the shots.
That 3 at the end of the first quarter was unbelievable by Chet.
That was awesome.
First of all, the pass.
Yeah.
I saw the interview with Jay Will. They're like, so are you QB1 now on the team? And he's like, oh, yeah. And then you could see Caruso behind him, like kind of saying something. He goes, "Oh, that's Caruso." And they go, "What's he chirping about?" And he goes, "He's just mad because he's QB2." And but it's like, "So what kind of play is that?" And he goes, "Me throwing it to Chet and him scoring." I mean, more or less was what he said. So everything Kellen said, I think that's what's awesome is about this team is it's going. Shai's probably going to be number one player most games. 2, 3, 4, 5, it's going to be somebody different according to probably, first of all, how they're playing, but maybe who we're playing. And so Chet's probably going to have a better game against Phoenix because they don't have anything inside. Chet's not going to be number one when we play the Nuggets or the Spurs because of who they have inside. But so it's going to be different. You know, if we played the Lakers, he could be number one. But if we're playing the Rockets, Sengun, he's going to be a little bit low. You know what I mean? So I use that example for everybody is that it just depends on who we play. And that's what's so awesome about JDub is maybe Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Is there anybody else in the league that's like him that can be big, can score, is thick, can play defense, is fast? I mean, just like the dude is just like tall. You know what I mean?
He's got some long arms too.
Long arms, yeah, exactly. So like he's a horrible matchup for everybody. And that's what's awesome about him is that like he's just we got to get him going and in every game for us to win this championship again.
Do you guys think that Chet is good with being, in a sense, like a super role player?
I think he takes such pride in his defense that he doesn't. I don't think he is a role player. Offensively, more role player, but like I said, he's the anchor of the defense. Like we talked about last week, because of what he can do in the paint, it opens everything up for our guys on the perimeter. So I don't think he's viewed in the locker room as just a role player. I think he is, I don't know, I just think he's like the spine of our defense, and without him, it would just be a completely different team. But I do think that the role that he has, I think he is good with. I think he likes winning. He loves the occasional lobs he gets from the guys. That's a rare time he cracks a smile during a game. I don't think he has any issues.
Well, Daigneault played 11 players in game one in the blowout. I know he rested Caruso for large stretches, but he also gave minutes to Wiggins, and Joe got some meaningful minutes. So my question for this is there any concern as far as trying to get that cohesiveness with some of these guys? Because we've missed so many players throughout the year, like with it being playoff time, or not having some of these other guys like the starters play as many minutes and resting them. Is there any issues with that? Or do you say, hey man, if you can get the rest, that way you can be ready for next game?
I say get the rest, especially for this series. Like, no offense to the Suns, but like we just got to be rested and healthy for hopefully playing the Nuggets or the Spurs if we make it to that round. So get the rest. Also get some other guys some playoff minutes just in case that their number has to be called in a big moment due to potential injury or potential just guys needing rest. But yeah, I think like we've said before, our team hasn't changed from last season. Really, the only difference is AJ Mitchell's not hurt and we added McCain. So because of that, yes,
That just sounds not fair.
Oh yeah, it's not fair at all. But because of that, I just think our starting five, they know what they're doing. Whether they've barely played together all year, they seem perfectly fine when they're all on the floor together.
Do you think the Thunder's defense is that good, or the Suns just top heavy and poorly constructed?
Yeah, I think we do that to everybody on defense, and I think they basically got two players and they're good, but that's all they got. And so all they talked about in the pregame, which I 100% agreed with on the pre-shows, and it's like how much the Suns overachieved this year. Like, I mean, they held the number 7 seed almost the entire season and then faltered in that first game. But they overachieved. They were supposed to be cleaning house, more or less, resetting with Booker and Brooks and getting rid of Durant and kind of getting, trying to fit some more pieces. And then do it, have a great year, make the playoffs. And I think they definitely overachieve. So it's like, oh great, we overachieve and we get to play the Thunder. So I just don't. I think they hit their goal for the season already.
And I do think we have the number one defense for a reason. Like, because the big difference between like us and the Spurs is the Spurs are number one when Wemby's on the court, but when he's off, they fall to number 15. But like our bench consists of people like Wallace and Caruso and J. Will and Kenrich if you need them on a big guy. So like Jalen Green at one point, he had the ball and he called, I don't know if he called for a screen, but a screen was set to get the switch to get Case and Wallace off of him. You know who replaced Case and Wallace on him? Caruso. Like, what are you supposed to do in that situation? That's just, we have and those are the exceptional backups. Defense. Exactly. So it's like there's nothing you can do.
And that's where we get people, because Jalen Green's a good player, and but when we have backups in there that, like you just mentioned, Caruso and Case and Wallace, Jared McCain, Isaiah Joe, and then Jay Will, and then and then just like, and always a starter or two sprinkled in, and you're just like, I mean, it's like you put Jalen Green in there on the first team or playing against the first team, and it's Shai and Dort guarding them. Then and then they drive in. Oh, we got it. Oh no, we got to meet Chet. So the layers is unbelievable.
Suns fans, we told you so. You traded the farm for Dillon Brooks and Jalen Green, and you're getting 27% shooting from those core. The Suns, I'll tell you, you're not a playoff team. A collection of names. Beating you by 30 is not a statement win. It's a requirement. And if Oklahoma City doesn't sweep you, I think that's a problem. Good for you, Suns fans. So while the Thunder are playing 11 guys and running at 100 miles per hour, if you notice, teams like the Lakers and the Nuggets, they're playing a little bit at half speed. So is our youthful energy actually a disadvantage when the game gets into a half-court style, grinded out slugfest?
I think the youthfulness is what beat Denver last season. They just by game 7, they just could not keep up. So I think the youthfulness is why we are so good, and also why like a team like the Spurs make you a little nervous because of the matchup, because they're all in a very similar situation. So I think that's one of our biggest strengths.
I agree with that. I think the slowdown game scares me because we don't shoot the three all that great. And so I think that's what Denver figured out last year when they went zone. So I'm hoping with the addition of Jared McCain, I do think Isaiah Joe's shooting better this year. Dort's not shooting as good this year, but he still seems to hit a few that you just like, there it goes. Caruso's, we've talked about that before. He's shooting a lot worse this year. So that's where I mean, if I was the team, I'd just be like, beat me from the three because I can't beat you any other way. And so slow down, taking us down to where we got to shoot, because we've kind of gotten into the, when it gets under 10 seconds on the shot clock, give it to Shai and see if he can go score offense, and that's not going to win us a whole lot of games.
Well, as the Thunder's, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but is the Thunder's path to the finals actually a gift because the Spurs and the Nuggets have to battle each other and beat up on one another on the other side? Or will this soft path to it, the possible Western Conference Finals, make us weak?
I think there's pros to both. I don't think either side makes you weak. I think you can enter, like, if we were to have played the Nuggets and then the Spurs, you're going to be a little more tired going into the Spurs, but you have some confidence and some, I don't know, you just beat a really good team going into it. But I don't think it's going to make us weak at all. I think it's just going to make us more rested. I think our guys are mature enough and now, because of last season, experienced enough that that's not going to be a factor in the San Antonio or Denver matchup.
I think it's going to our next round's not going to be easy. So it's not the Nuggets or Spurs, but it's going to be Kevin Durant or LeBron James. And if Luka and Austin Reeves make it back, then it's the Lakers. That's not going to be easy. So it's not like, we've talked about that before. could go 5, 6, 7 games, probably more than likely with those against one of those teams. And so it's not going to be super easy. I don't think it's going to be the beat down slugfest because neither one of them are like the Nuggets. But not only do the Nuggets and Spurs more than likely have to play each other, they're still got to deal with Minnesota and Portland, who are pretty good teams too. So I think that's one thing. I think Doris Burke, Kellen, you didn't get to watch the game on TV, but she did everything in her power to get Oklahoma City fans to like her again, because it was Shai this and Shai that and Oklahoma City this and just blah. It was unbelievable. I was like, my gosh, she's going overboard the other way now.
Well, I know we're arguably the healthiest team coming into the playoffs. Is that luck, or is that 11-man rotation a legitimate strategy that other teams are too stubborn maybe to follow?
I think it was planned.
And I don't think it was too stubborn to follow. Other teams don't have 11 guys. There's only about 2 teams that are anywhere near as deep as us, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And they're also they're number 2 and 3 favorites to win the finals. So.
And after watching that over the last couple of years for the Thunder, because we've been deep for a couple of years, how are other teams not getting those, even like you watch like college level, or I see high school level, where a lot of players play like before Christmas that don't play after Christmas because they're working them, they're getting them better, they're improving them. I'm like, why are you not playing 10 or 11 players before Christmas all the time and getting these guys that are rookies or maybe you're not real sure about, getting them 15 minutes a game, where all of a sudden, because every team has to deal with injuries. So I just don't understand, because we've done that now for 3 to 4 years, and that's why these players are gotten a lot better.
I just don't think other teams actually have guys that are as good as the guys. Like, other teams don't have an A.J. Mitchell or a Cason Wallace on the bench, or a McCain or a J. Will or a Caruso. Like, we really have just guys that are that good. I just don't think other teams, even if they did try it, I don't think it would work out for them.
And then my final sports type question right now is, if you had to point fingers at one thing that Oklahoma City right now is doing that you feel like is too good to be true, what would that be?
The amount of steals.
I mean, yeah, for one game, but the
turnovers
kind of handed. Yeah, they handed us a lot of this. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything too good to be true. It's one game in, so.
No, I know, but I mean, I think health is one. I mean, health. You've got to be healthy. You have to be healthy, and of all times to be healthy, we look like we're doing it right now. I mean, we don't want to see any kind of injury. Knock on wood. I don't want any of that to jinx anybody, but I think health is huge right now for us, and I think that's. I don't want to say it's too good to be true, but it's pretty important.
I just think it was planned. Like, we had a lot of injuries all season, so we over-rested a lot of guys until they were really fully healthy and ready to come back. So I don't think it's too good to be true, because I mean, last season it was the same, other than JDub, who tore up his wrist right before the playoffs, but nobody knew until afterwards. So
it'd be interesting to see if we have any guys like that are all going to be having surgery after. We're like, yeah, Caruso, his back he broke it in 17 places, and he's going to sit out all summer. It's like, that's why he rested. There's probably somebody like that's got to have a cleanup surgery or something that is like, now I
could
know
see Shai having something done to his finger. He's had that finger taped up all season, and every once in a while you'll catch him holding it. And it's been that way since like 2025.
Think about, like we've talked about before, teams that don't make the playoffs and teams that do. Like, and if you go all the way to the finals, you've got a 2-month. Other teams that didn't make the playoffs have 2 months of extra time to rest, or if somebody's majorly hurt or what have you. But us, and I'd rather be in this situation. But I mean, think about all that extra wear and tear on the bodies. That's why I think it's so important to do the load management at times. I know it's not fun. I know even if you can do it in the playoffs, set out fourth quarters, whatever. But think about it. Like, Hardenstein had, the calf injury that they were concerned about. It's always something with Caruso. It's his back, his hip. I know JDub had the hamstring injury. And then what was it with Shai? What exactly was that called? I cannot remember.
Oblique.
Oblique? Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if it was oblique or not. some of those probably weren't, I mean, I shouldn't say probably, they weren't ones that they planned for, because I guarantee you they still would have rested some of these players quite a bit throughout the season. But it did give some other players a chance to play. Like we were talking about earlier, if Sorber wasn't hurt all year, that would have been meaningful minutes for him. So that's another guy that's going to be coming next year that, I mean, he may be incredible. We just don't know it yet. So we'll see. It'll be fun. Any other NBA questions that you guys have? Anything at all? Well, good. Here we go. I've got 3 questions for you. The first one, if you're at a wedding and the food is a buffet, is it acceptable to go back for seconds before everyone has had their first plate?
No.
What happens if you're hungry? I mean,
That's your own fault. Should have eaten before.
okay, let's say there's not a line, or maybe a few people in line. Still doesn't change. Man, survival of the fittest.
Yeah,
Food
but
there,
like
eat
it's
it.
free food provided by the bride and groom. It's not a place for you to go pig out.
Hey, free meal. It's on them. Right? I guess not. I don't think you guys agree with me.
Pig out when it's, you know, when everybody's done.
All right. So if you have the chance to bring back a store that no longer exists, which one would you choose?
I don't know if it counts. The only thing I can ever think of is Blockbuster.
That's good.
It's just a lot of fun going in there. I know we have all the streaming, but sometimes I don't want to pay $20 to rent a movie from Amazon that's not on any of the 20 streaming platforms I pay for. If I
Such a racket. That's another podcast on itself.
Yeah.
It's a racket.
Man, you know, only thing I can think of is these are going way back. It's just not even good because there's so many of these like Dollar Generals and Family Dollars and Dollar Trees, but like there was the Ben Franklin's, TGNY, Otasco's. I guess those were kind of the same thing, but man, as a kid, I loved going in those stores.
If it were for me, I'd say TGY probably would be my first choice. I know my dad worked there for, I want to say 19, 20 years. I can't remember. He'd have to tell me. I thought that was really a pretty cool place, but I do, like Kellen said, Blockbuster. Toys R Us was always a fun place to go to.
That was kind of, I thought of that one.
That was a good one. Other than that, I mean, do you remember?
Now that we're grandpas.
Yeah, now that we're grandpas, which I'm not complaining about. I just wish I wasn't an old grandpa. What was the one? Service merchandise. Remember that? Service merchandise?
Yeah.
That was kind of cool too. So I always liked going into there. I had friends that worked there as well. And then my final question, what was the dumbest thing you believed as a kid?
Kellen's would be like yesterday.
You should have to think long because you were a kid.
Yeah, I don't think I'm that young anymore, unfortunately.
I believe.
Well, I mean, obviously we all probably, I mean, this isn't really it, but I mean, all believed in Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny, all that kind of stuff. Do you remember? Oh,
that wasn't dumb because everybody believes in it.
Well, no, I get it. But I mean, if you look back on it, like, how did you find out there was no Santa?
Your wife?
What did Amy do?
She told me.
She just said no Santa?
Yeah, pretty much.
Kellen, how did you find out? You remember?
I found a receipt on the table for a Wii remote that we had just gotten a couple weeks earlier, and I was like, So I felt sick to my stomach for like weeks. And then I never said a word to anybody. And then like the next Christmas, you told me that without me saying anything, you just said Santa's not real. I was like, figure that out. Thank you.
He was like 15, but
yeah.
But I remember telling you we were in the van in Springfield, and we were driving. You know that curve where that Pizza Hut was, and the Casey's. I think we were driving around that corner, and I was like, and you were like, same thing for Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny, all, going through it. I'm like, no, sorry, not real. I know Gannon was not pleased whenever your mom told him. Luckily, I wasn't there because Gannon could throw a little wing ding from time to time.
I think my dumb part on that was when I figured out. She told me there wasn't a Santa Claus, and it was like maybe 2 or 3 years after that I realized Tooth Fairy and Easter Bunny weren't real either. Like, how did I not put it all together?
It's crazy. Well, we didn't. When I was a little kid, we didn't have a fireplace at first. We eventually, my parents had one built, but I'm like, how does he get in? And they were showing me this air vent they were like, oh, he comes through that. And I'm like, huh? I remember looking up there and seeing like a little bit of fuzz, probably, and I thought, oh, that's probably set for some of the suit. And then I remember we were leaving TG&Y one time. I was a little guy. I think I may have even said this on the podcast once, but I was probably, I'm serious, 4 or 5 years old. And I see where it's Christmas Eve. I see this red light way up, and I go, Hey, Dad, it's Rudolph.
Rudolph.
And he goes, nah, it's just a plane. And I remember even at that young age thinking, really? You're going to give me the, you know?
Oh, I used to see him all the time on Christmas Eve, and I was like, that's got to be him.
Yeah.
Got to be him.
And I did the same thing to Kellen and Garrett. I brought them outside. I remember we were living in Yukon, and I go, hey, there, you can see Rudolph right there. And you guys were going nuts. You thought it was great.
I can't think of anything that I just thought was dumb. There's a lot of things that when I got older, I'm like, oh, yeah, that was dumb for me to think that. It not necessarily was, I believed in it. It was just like, for example, like for the longest time, I mean, I think I was in maybe even if I was still in college age or maybe a little bit even older when I found out that chicken fried steak wasn't chicken. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. When they were telling me like it's steak, and I was like, what? All this time?
I had a friend at Lambert's. He had a group in his section. I don't know what religion they were, but they couldn't eat like beef. So they asked him if the chicken fried steak was chicken, and he's like, yeah. So he brought it out to them. They started eating, and I was like, he started laughing. He's like, they didn't know it was chicken.
Funny.
I was like, no, he didn't know.
Oh.
He was laughing, saying they didn't know it was chicken. And I was like, it's not. He's like, what? I was like, it's beef. So I don't know what happened after. I just know he ran over the table, but I was like,
I would not.
What a clown. That was our number one seller at Lambert's. You got to know.
True. Clay, did you believe when you were a kid that if you swallow gum, it'd stay in your stomach for 7 years?
I did believe that.
I did too.
How about here's another good one, that if you get bit by a dog, you're going to get rabies and have to get 20 shots in the stomach.
Yeah. I didn't know. I didn't ever hear the stomach, but I knew about the shots.
Yeah, it was always in the stomach, and you had to have shots for rabies. I was like, it's like I had to get a tetanus shot about a month ago, and I asked the nurse who was giving it to me, and I was like, have you ever known anybody to get tetanus? She just looked at me. She goes, no, I don't think so. And I go, what is tetanus? And she left and came back, and she goes, well, I Googled it and told me what it was. I was like, well, have you ever known anybody to get it? She goes, yeah. And I go, so why do we have the shots? And she goes, well, I guess if everybody gets tetanus shots, nobody will get tetanus. And I was like, okay, good point there. But I was like, I've never known anybody to get tetanus.
What about sitting too close to the TV or in your eyes permanently? If you cross your eyes and get stuck that way.
If you get kicked.
Cracking your knuckles gives you arthritis.
Ooh, I know another one.
Let's hear it.
Turning the lights on in the car where the driver can't see, like the interior lights.
Yeah.
My dad always told us it was against the law to have them on.
Eating watermelon seeds will make one grow in your stomach.
I heard that one. I never ate watermelon.
Go ahead, Kellen. Go ahead.
Well, you guys always told me that eating my greens would make me grow big and tall, and 5'9.5".
Apparently, you didn't eat very many.
Yeah, you didn't eat.
I felt like I ate more than I wanted to.
He ate more than Gary, and Gary's a little bit taller.
Gary's the tallest one. So I think you guys lied.
Yeah. There's still one thing that I still believe in. It's probably, it's not true, but the Dallas Cowboys are going to win a Super Bowl soon. That's killing me. I've been believing that thing for daggum, going on 30, 35, 31 years, I think, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if we're ever going to see it.
We won't see it as long as Dak's there. That's another podcast, and we got the NFL draft coming up. But as long as Dak's there, even when Jerry's
highest paid player in the league.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at the Foxx Den Sports Podcast, I'd like to thank all of our listeners for tuning in. We appreciate you. We appreciate the comments, the banner back and forth. Keep it coming. Take a look on Instagram. Take a look on Facebook, TikTok, our YouTube channel. Subscribe. We need some more subscribers there. So, but pass that information along. Forward it to everybody. Get your friends listening. And it'll be fun again next week. But for the dog and bench, I am the Podfather. Stay savage, not average. Goodbye, everybody. Boomer.
Sooner.
Thank you for listening to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for free to our YouTube channel, Foxx Den Sports. And also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Foxx Den Sports and on Facebook at Foxx Den Sports Podcast. You can also email us at foxdensports@yahoo.com. This has been Foxx Den Sports.